Mr. Cameraman, am I good? Okay.
Because I know a lady named Soprano.
Yeah, so someone, when I was trying to find the origin of the history, someone told me that that could possibly be the case. When I received Roni, it's my grandmother's name. And I tell people all the time that it's probably old and southern. And it was the whole thing. It was Frony when I got it, it was Frony when she got it. How are you? It wasn't shortened from anything else. So I'm gonna get us to introduce ourselves since we're a small group, and I like that we're a small group.
Oh, okay.
We're getting paper now, I'm just gonna have y'all do a little exercise before we get into the session today. I'm a native Washingtonian.
Yay.
I was born and raised right here in Washington, D.C. at what's called Howard University Hospital now. It was Freedman's Hospital when I was born at here, those many years ago. Product of D.C. Public Schools. Product of an HBCU. Are you a Howard student?
No, I went to Spelman.
Oh, give me some. Oh, wait, let me do this for you.
Oh yes. Did you go to Spelman?
How did I just go?
That was a lot.
I know that's right. You took class in 2017.
Who's paying a lot? Great. I love it.
I just had my 5 years. So. I made it.
That's so awesome. It's a tiny, tiny world, right? You have to put that out there because you never know who has something that's in common with you, right?
Right.
We're here talking about stigma, talking about how people are so divided and spewing hate and don't like something about somebody and, you know, all this awful stuff, but, you know, you put it out there, you never know. We were connected. You're in Indy. I was just in Indy last week, so absolutely. Now I teach at I attended HBCU. Now I teach at 2 HBCUs, so Washington, D.C.'s, 2 HBCUs actually, Howard University, I adjunct in their health education program, and I'm full professor at the University District of Columbia, where I am program director for the health education program up there. So that's my scholarship, my profession. I'm public health. I'm PhD in public health. I do public health work. I started doing the Stigma conference at the very first Stigma conference, actually with an intern from Howard University. We did a poster presentation on stigma with women living with HIV and AIDS and communities of color, looking at HIV and AIDS as if it was something to be stigmatized, and as if the individuals who were living with that condition wasn't to be embraced. So I come full circle. I've jumped in and out of the Stigma conference, presenting here and there, doing different things. Last year I did a presentation on mental health, and then this year we're going to be talking about peers, being a supportive peer. That's what we'll be talking about today. So before I jump into my presentation, I'm going to have you all introduce yourself, but I'm going to have you introduce yourself using those pieces of paper that I just gave you all. So on that paper, I want you to create what in your mind's eye is a peer support superhero. What does that peer support superhero look like? It can be a person, it can be an image, it can be a concept, and what kind of qualities should that peer support superhero possess? Okay? So on the paper, I want everybody to indulge me, please. I'm putting on my professor cap now. Everybody will have participation points for doing this activity. Create. It can be an image, it can be a person, it can be a stick person. You can just point to different parts on that person that talks about the attributes that you think that they should have if they were to be a superhero, peer support superhero. What kind of qualities should that person have? I won't give it away, but I just want to have you all create yours. Give you a few minutes to
It
do
is
that.
somebody else that you saw, right?
No, not me. No, you know what?
No, I mean, not me.
Tell me your name.
I'm waiting. Nancy.
Nancy, you told me the name. Nancy, it can be you, because you might be a peer superhero. You might be a support superhero. So if that's the case, yes, it can be you. And more than likely, you're in the wrong session.
Yeah.
You can say we'd love to have you.
I know.
No, I'm just joking. You go where you need to go.
I was thinking I might have missed it by now, but I'll come back.
All right. Well, hopefully you haven't missed it. And so, what qualities does a peer support superhero pose, what would that person look like? If it's a person, it might be a concept or a theme or an image. You know, nowadays we have these hieroglyphic kind of things. People aren't real. It's virtual stuff going on. The peer support super person could be one of those type of things. But what qualities would that superhero have to be able to navigate the other peer, to provide support to the other peer? What would they have? And you can, what time do you have? Anybody?
143.
1:43? Okay, how about 5 more minutes? 5 more minutes, which means I'm probably gonna give you an extra 2. So. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Y'all here for the peer support? Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. So right now, we are doing a quick activity before I get started with the session. And we have, I've asked everybody to take out a sheet of paper and a pencil, and you're creating on this paper. You don't have paper?
Yes, I do.
You do? Oh, you have enough to share? Or not, let's go, Sister Joy over there has some extra ones she can give us.
The patio.
Okay, so you need a sheet of paper. You're creating a peer support superhero. What would a peer support superhero look like?
Ooh.
What qualities would a peer support superhero possess? That's what you're creating. It can be a picture. We would prefer a picture, some type of image. If you just want to list the attributes, you can do that. But you look like you're more artsy than listing attributes to me. So you're creating your peer support superhero. And this, when we think about superheroes, when we think about a person, a human, it doesn't have to be human. It can be a concept. It could be some kind of theory. It can be something abstract. Okay? Think about the attributes that the superhero will have, and then emphasize those. Really amplify those attributes that you think a peer support superhero should have. And I don't know, they didn't tell you this is a workshop, you're working here.
Right.
Whoop. Sit easy.
What time is it now?
146.
36, okay. Jawanda? Wanda, yes. Came in and got right to it. Say, awesome. 36, 4 more minutes, how about that? I exceeded some minutes because our last group before, and we need a little more time. I feel like I should have some music going on while
Who get the jazz player?
Oh, he was really good.
He was. Like grown people music.
That's good. Nice entertainment. And it's a nice lunch too.
Even a happy birthday.
How you doing with time?
148.
Do we need 2 more minutes? Is everyone finished?
I'm done.
None?
Yeah. I just felt,
Just adding a little extra stuff.
yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, then let's get started. So, for those of you who just came in, I'll introduce myself again. I'm Dr. Fern Jackson, native Washingtonian, adjunct professor here at Howard, full professor at the University of the District of Columbia, background public health. I've been doing HIV work since early 1990s. Oh my God, I said early 1900s, 1990s. And I actually presented during the very first international conference on stigma, and I've done different ones throughout. I'm happy to be here today doing this presentation with you all on peer support. I actually am the advisor for the Peers for Community and Public Health Awareness at UBC, and there's a bunch of peer students who provide peer support for other students on campus. Most of my public health work has been in HIV, and we know how stigmatized people living with HIV are. So I am glad that Dr. Rama has this conference every year. I think it's very important work, and thanks to all of you. Congratulations to all of you for showing up and being here. I have introduced myself, so now I'm going to have you all stand and introduce yourself and tell us about your superhero. So tell me your name and where you're from, and tell me about your superhero and the attributes that your peer support superhero has. Okay, I want to start with, hello, how are you? So, Troy, you mind if I start with you?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Joy Wright. I am a researcher, patient navigator for the Community and Family Medicine Department for Howard University Medical School. And I'm originally from Houston, but I came here and got my master's at Georgetown, and I see my Spelman sister over here. We've always connected, literally. And so, I'm sorry, I'm leaning down. My peer support hero, she is a little, I can't really draw that well, but I try to give her like a ponytail with a cape, you know. But my peer support hero is supportive, passionate about the work, understanding intersectionality. That was like a big thing. Non-biased, able to lead, but also able to follow, because a lot of times people want to lead, but you know, sometimes you need to know when, you know, you gotta follow someone. A choice to change the world, a voice for the unheard, an activist, an active leader, an ally, and also inviting, because, you know, you can't be off-putting when you're trying to speak up for, you know, what you're standing for, so, yeah.
Awesome, excellent, and I heard that, a choice to change the world.
Yes,
Absolutely, thank you, George, for some very good attributes. I think when we have our talk today, our discussion, our dialogue, we're gonna see some of those attributes come out. Who would like to give us their superhero next? Come on, Nancy. Come on, Nancy.
Okay, peer support superhero is a person that can make things happen with their peers in the community. A person that knows things, and if they don't, they know someone else that might have the answers. Someone that's not afraid to ask questions, and they will present their peers in the community because of the stigma the other people, the peers are not open about their status, so someone has to represent them.
Okay, awesome,
And
thank
that's
you.
that person.
Okay, now, earlier you asked if is that you? Is that you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't think of it, I couldn't make up of anything, so I was like, okay, I'm doing me.
exactly. What's better?
I love it.
And I will present myself, my community, I'm Asian, I'm Filipino, and it's like, I've been to a lot of conferences, groups, everything. but you don't need affiliation.
Right.
So that's why it comes like I said, hey, I'm Nancy, I'm here, and we have a lot of people that are not here, but they, you know,
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
will.
Absolutely. Thank you, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for representing. How do you wanna go next? You wanna go next?
Okay, I'll go next. I am Michelle Harris. I live currently in Indianapolis, Indiana. My pronouns are she, her, and queen. I would say my peer support should listen very well and be able to understand everyone's thoughts, even though the thoughts may be different. Be willing to show and teach as well as to learn for myself, because you can always learn from someone else. I'm not always right, so I have to be able to admit I'm not always right. That shows more to a person when you can admit, hey, I didn't do that right, or I didn't say that right, and I have to go back over there and redo it. You know, also you have to be strong enough to each one teach one, bring somebody else along with you, and show them, even if it's just one person at a time, each one teach one, bring somebody along with you.
Thank you, Michelle. Yeah, thank you. Tell me your name.
Christine.
Christine, we are describing our peer support superheroes. What attributes, we were drawing what it looks like. If you drew an image, share, or listing the attributes that a peer support superhero would have. So, you don't mind, jot down.
Like Christina Villas.
And we'll give you some time to do it. Don't worry.
Okay.
I said it now because we have some more folks
Okay.
who's here before you. They can present theirs and we can kind of pull yours together.
You want
Okay?
a piece of
All
paper?
right, very good.
Do you need a piece of paper to write in?
No.
You got it up here? You gonna describe your
Superhero.
image to us?
Just a superhero.
Yeah.
Tell me your name.
My name is Cedric Taylor. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm the app admin for Positive Peers, which is a mobile app for people living with. My superhero, I don't know if you can really see it, but he's like flying. He got like rays of energy in his hand. And the reason why I put like the rays of energy, and there's no face to it because this superhero can be something that you can find in. Like me, mine's is like cars. So when I'm like working on a car or racing a car, designing a car, I learn from it as well. So like maybe I like, oh, I want it to look this way, but then I mess up. I'm like, oh wait, no, it looks good this way. Or it could be a person, yourself, or somebody that you find support in. And the energy itself that he's holding, you know, we know energy gives off and receives. So like you all were saying, like they have to be somebody who can learn and also express. So it's that give and take. So it's like a teeter-totter, right? So you just find that fine medium, and that's my little superhero.
All right.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Sid.
They're from Ohio, okay.
Sorry, that's how we do it.
That's
All right. You know it.
So we're gonna start on this side of the room. Grayson?
Yes, Grayson. Yeah, hello everybody, my name is Grayson. I'm from the Dallas area in Texas. That's right.
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Rock, baby.
But I'm currently living in Augusta, Georgia. And so yeah, very happy to be here. I drew some stick figures.
Okay.
It's very basic, very simple, but I was just thinking a peer supporter would be somebody who's basically equal to the people and the peers that they're supporting. So I just drew like just one person who was just kind of in a line with a bunch of others. And like I put, because I'm here for HIV reasons, I put everybody's holding like the HIV ribbon, including the peer supporter. And she's just like speaking out like love and support to all of her equals. So yeah, for me, a peer support is one of equals.
Okay.
All right.
Nice.
I like that.
Thank you, Grayson.
Thank you.
Okay. Wanda.
Hello, everybody. My name is Wanda, and I drew my superhero. She's a female. Black. She looks like me. She's smart. She's courageous. She's faithful, loyal, beautiful, dedicated. She's a leader, and she's honest. And she's a good listener.
Yeah, okay. That theme is ringing all over the place. Communication and listening.
I'm Rebecca. I didn't list the attributes, but I just wanted to show you guys my little picture. And thank you. So it doesn't really have any words, but I mean, I hope the picture shares some words.
And she got a big
With a heart.
Big heart.
She got a big heart.
Right?
Yeah.
And she has a smile on her
That's
face.
right, she got a big heart. She got love.
Thank you, guys.
Very good. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Benjamin?
Yeah, hey y'all. So my name is Ben. I go to American University here in DC, and I am an advocacy and capacity building intern at Health HIV. In terms of my peer support superhero, unfortunately never can, but I did write down some notes. No, it's all good. So first one was empathy. I think that's really important, as was like impressed on all of us, and I think like a lot of us like internalized this like throughout the conference. Empathy is a really important foundation to build everything else you do on and to inform all of your work. Second thing is kindness. Obviously, it's just good to put out that kind of energy into the world in general, and to have that in every single situation you're in, to never, let that get out of hand, and to always express kindness no matter what. The third thing is human connection. It's important to form those connections with people. I think especially like after COVID, or not really after COVID, but like, as we've come to learn with COVID, that sense of human connection is really important. And when we lose that sense of human connection, it can be really devastating. So that's really important too. Second last thing is dedication. Just being dedicated to whatever you're doing and continuing to do it no matter how hard it is. And the last thing is honesty. Being willing to be honest with your peers and honest with them, regardless of how hard that can be, is important to forming that sense of trust and that sense of belonging.
Very good, very good attribute. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben. You ready?
Yes. So, my name is Christine, and honestly, I have to say, first and foremost, I love you guys' accent. I'm from New York, and that southern accent is something. But I live in New York, and I'm a peer that I'm so dedicated to this field, and I might dress like Wonder Woman, but I really sometimes need help. But in the formal way that us peers in New York, we try to learn from each other. Understand? Even with the simple training of the most new stuff that's coming out. You understand? So I feel that with me is totally dedication, love, and empathy towards one another.
Very good. Good attributes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And it's so funny because you know what? They're all thinking your accent is funny.
I didn't say where I was. I'm from Los Angeles.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm from the South, but born and
That's a
raised in
long,
Memphis.
y'all came long distances. That's very good, thank you. Okay, all great attributes, and I think all of them are correct. So a superhero, to be a peer, period, you need to have these qualities about yourself. Empathy, you want to learn from each other, you need to be able to communicate, listen, just all be kind, all of those things. So today we're talking about the roles that peer supporters play. And to play in any of these roles, you have to have all of those characteristics. And you're going to pull from your toolbox. They're all in your toolbox. You're going to pull one of those out at any given time. Stick it back in. You may not need that today. You may need something else. Depending on who you're supporting, right? So we're going to talk about 5 roles. And my slides say, nothing right now, right? They say peer educator. We intertwine. Peer educator is nothing but a peer supporter, right? We have peer educators, peer supporters, community health workers, navigators. We have all of these individuals, right? Well, we have all of these titles and terms for individuals that support, that are peers, and that they support, they help their peers through different things to overcome different challenges, to reach different goals and things such as that. So we're going to be exchanging that term educators throughout the session today. So we're gonna talk about the 5 roles that peer support play. And can anybody think of any of those roles? We just talked about attributes, but what can some of the specific roles be that peers play? There are 5 that we're gonna talk about today.
Helping someone through grief.
So that's something that they can do. What would that person, you know, let me give them to you. How about I do that? Let me give them to you.
You're talking about like a nurse or?
Kinda. Let's see. So, peer educators can play the role of a friend. But when we say they're playing the role of a friend, we don't mean being their best friend, right? Hey girl, we're friends, we're going out to dinner, we're gonna go to lunch, go to a movie or something like that. We're talking about as a friend, some of the things that you would do for your friend, you would do for the person that you are supporting, the peer that you're supporting. So you would be able to listen, available. The friend is available to listen. Usually when the peer supporter is in the role of a friend, you're working one-on-one with another peer, right, who needs your help. The person needs your help, you're working one-on-one with that person. And you have to be available to listen. So I heard listening over here, I heard communications. Great, that's one of the main attributes, or one of the attributes, right? You have to be able to, and I heard this in the attributes too, connect people to resources. You have to be a peer in the role of a friend, you're connecting them to resources. So let me tell y'all a little something about these slides. I can't share them, they're so protected, I can't even download them to put them on the thumb drive, so I had to do this trickery. Feel free if you want to take pictures of the slides, so you can have them if you want, because I can't, I'd like to send my slides out, but I can't, so if you want to snap a photo, please do. So as a friend, you're supportive and you're encouraging, right? So when you're in the role as a friend, supporting someone, supporting another peer, you would be supportive and you would be encouraging to them. So that would normally be at the state when you're working one-on-one with another individual who needs your assistance. Okay? So that's one of the roles, friend. The next one is an educator. Another role that peer supporters play is as an educator. I heard each one teach one, right? I heard that a couple of times. So as a peer supporter, we teach other individuals. You might be teaching one person, you might be in front of a group with peers like this and doing a session and training them and talking to them about your expertise, something that you know that can help them along the way. You increase awareness, right? So most of us, sounds like, are in the field of HIV. We increase, as a peer, as we're supporting peers who are living with that condition, we can increase awareness about that condition, right? In the community, in the surrounding areas, and that helps to support the individuals who are living with the condition. Correct misperceptions. As educators, we correct misperceptions. So we know there's so many myths about, how many myths were there out there about COVID? How many myths still out there about monkeypox? Right? As an educator, as a peer supporter, as an educator, we have to debunk those myths. Okay, that's part of our job. The other myths stop them in their tracks. And as an educator, we provide resources. Resources that, and it can be any kind of resources for housing, resources for food, it could be any kind of social support. But as an educator, we want to provide resources, correct misperceptions, increase awareness, and teach. That's the second role. And that can be one-on-one, but sometimes most of the time it's in a group where you're a peer supporter, you're supporting your peers in whatever situation that is, but you're doing it from a group standpoint. You bring in a group of people and you're presenting information. The next one is that of an activist. We are all, as peer supporters, as a group supporting our peers, we are activists. So we are creating positive change through leadership, right? And somebody says sometimes you have to follow. We all Indians, but sometimes you have to be a follower to be a good leader. I heard that out there. So creating positive change. We do that by busting the myths, educating people, helping to do things like Heal Day. And I know we have Heal Day through the conference. A group of us will go down to the Capitol and walk through and knock on the doors to talk to folks who make policy, who can make policy change happen. create partnerships and networks, right? We did a little networking in here earlier, right? The partnerships, how many of your agencies that you come from is just that agency and it doesn't work with any other agencies at all? You just provide all the services to all of your clients without any help from anybody else? I mean, nobody, right? Everybody, every agency, every group has a partner of some sort. It might not even be formal, you may not have a contract or MOU, but somebody else is helping you to provide services. Who said they were with Help HIV? Right, and Help HIV is a partner for everybody in DC, if you ask me. I think everybody comes to Help HIV for some. I consider you a partner for us at UDC with our peers. Just work in Family Ministries, we go to Help HIV, get a partner to get educational information, go to this, their SEEM conference, so they're partners. We always have a partner, somebody, another organization that helps you as an activist, you will have partners. And as an activist too, we are not passive bystanders. When we see things, what is the thing now? See something, say something, we're not gonna put ourselves in harm's way, but we are active bystanders as an activist. We're speaking up and speaking out about the wrongs that are going on, that we see, even if it's right in our immediate vicinity, or it might be just something in general. So, friend, educator, activist. Next one is a role model. Okay. Peer support. Supporters are role models. Just don't talk it, you walk it, right? We're saying that our support person should do something, should live this way, should go to the Hill, should be available to listen. We have to do those things ourselves, right? We have to be alone. We have to be living what we're saying. So we lead by example. So we're telling our the person that we're supporting, you need to lead a healthy lifestyle. You should be eating some healthy, so they shouldn't see us with Big Macs every day, right? We should be, reasonably doing what it is we're asking them to do. And we can share our stories, right, of change. We don't want to push on other people what we did and how we did it, but it's something that if we share our stories, it can possibly help somebody else. It might help them to go in that direction we went in. It might help them to realize that, that won't work for me, but I can maybe do it this way, right? So we want to exchange stories as a role model. And sometimes you don't even have to open your mouth to exchange your story. It's sometimes it's how you show up. Your story is showing up, and they can see it. All right, last one, number 5, is the team member. I said one of those, I think, was activists where we have partners, but even as a team member, usually as a peer supporter, we're not working alone. It's not, I had you do the superheroes before. Usually superheroes work by themselves, all right? They have their little hidden headquarters or the bat cave or whatever. They do their superhero work all by themselves. They go out and they beat up the bad guys and they go back. But as a peer support person, we work on a team, right? We always work on a team. One year, I was a community health worker. I'm always a community health worker. That was my dissertation. But as a community health worker, I worked on a team. I worked on a team of other community health workers, physicians, nurses, social workers. I was part of a team for African American women who were living with HIV and AIDS. So I supported them, but I had to go back to talk to the physicians, the nurses who were providing care for those women. So as a support person, as a support peer, you're not by yourself. You work as on a team, so you have to have some team building skills. You work closely with my supervisor here or other members on my team. So team member, what were the five we just said?
Friend, educators, activists,
Role model.
Okay, very good. Okay. Got it. Okay, you guys got those. Okay, very good, thank you. Now, so which one do you see yourselves in? Which role? So, okay, I will go through each one. Yeah, so I heard educator over here. How many people see themselves as a, first, we all see ourselves
all
as.
of them.
Okay, there you go.
She is. Every part of it.
She is.
Every last one, yeah. And that's what we'll find. We probably are playing have some part of each one of these roles, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, very good. So friends, everybody says they're all of them, at least one of these things at some point in time.
At some
Yeah.
point.
At some point.
I know what's on.
Not all of the time for me. I'm not an educator all the time.
But you are a peer educator also, so it's like,
Yeah, but that's
you
what I said.
have all of those qualities of a,
Right, but
So
my
very well.
educator skills don't work 24/7.
oh, I'm sure there's the work 24/7 either.
Right, right, never anything 24/7.
Okay.
I just wanted to make that a little clear.
But and towards the end of this session today, we're gonna talk about self-care, and that's why I said never anything
Oh,
24/7.
yeah.
That's why I said.
I do self-care.
Yeah, that's why I said my educator skills don't do 24/7.
Okay.
I always do self-care.
So we know that these are the roles that we can play, and we can see how they are distinguished from each other. Different, we may be doing something, have a different type of hat on at a different time. Okay, very good. And then how those attributes that you said about your superhero can fit in every last one of these roles, right? Okay, good. So now we want to move on to the second thing that I want to talk about today, and that is how am I doing with time? Okay, we're gonna get it. So, common traps of peer support, peer educator, so you can be a peer educator. These are some common traps we fall into. These are some barriers, some of those things that we do. I see people saying, when we're trying to help other folks, right? We're trying to support other folks through whatever it is we're trying to support them through.
Me.
Yep, okay, so let's talk about this. One trap is trying to do too much. We're gonna talk about what each of these things can possibly look like. One trap can be taking on something too big. Internalizing the issue.
Oh,
And blurring,
that's the person.
and blurring the lines of integrity and ethics.
Uh-huh.
All right, so let's first talk about I heard of so did Nas and trying to do too much. Show of hands. What's that look like? I know what it looks like.
Stress.
This looks like stress. So when you are taking on too much, what are you doing?
I'm doing too much.
Sometimes that could look like if you're doing like a session with somebody or whatever the case may be, you supporting them, and then you say, oh, these are the resources right here. You give them a list and like, oh, you know how I call them and I fill you in later on. And if they call, matter of fact, if they send you an email, send it to me, I'll fill it out. Now, yeah, that's when you're doing too much.
Not delegate.
Yeah, that can certainly be doing too much, right?
Yeah, not delegate.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like to help people and do things, I mean, on a regular, any day, right? But then my body can take a lot, and I do too much sometimes, but then my body tells me to rest, and I do that for myself.
Perfect, but see that, it keeps going back to self-care. We do too much, it
Yeah.
sometimes it tells us, our
My
body
body
lets us
tells
know
me.
that enough is enough. And
So,
Cedric, I know it was a C, I was going to say Clarence.
like the entertainer Brian from here.
Okay, Cedric. Okay, Cedric, the entertainer. Yeah, doing too much is, like, we should guide and support the folks that we're working with, not doing stuff for them. When it gets to that point, we are doing too much, and we can also be enabling them too. That's another thing we can be doing. So sometimes, sometimes we do too much, because we got too much going on. You know, we may as support, how many hats do we wear? We have 5 hats, right? We're a friend, we're activist, we're a team player, we're an educator, we're a role model. And even outside of being that, having those roles, you know, we are in charge, we're volunteering for something over here, we got the church thing over there. We have all this stuff going on. We're just doing too much. And do we have enough time to really give to the folks that we're trying to support? And do we feel like we are, sometimes we might even be too busy for them because we're doing too much and we're putting them off. We're not really being effective for them, and we're not really helping them. So we have to think about, are we doing too much? Yes.
So, unfortunately, sometimes peers get too dedicated, and then the other person feels like, they always have to count on that person for everything. Even when they get a letter that they don't understand, that they could really understand it, but they just want you to just read it for them. But what my situation is that I do a lot of outreaching and go to people's homes. And I go visit them in their homes, and sometimes I have to go to the worst part of the situations where they live, you know, projects or places that there's a lot of drugs involved, you understand, people selling drugs in the, all kinds of. So it's a risk factor too that I'm actually saying, this is too much for me, you understand?
Yeah, absolutely. So, safety first always, right? We're trying to support our peers, we have to take care of ourselves. We're talking later about self-care, we're kind of intertwining it as we go, but, part of safety, self-care is not putting yourself in harm's way and keeping yourself safe. You have to be careful. I was a community health worker. I had to knock on doors and reach out to people who wasn't making it to their medical appointments. And if I had to go to some of the cut, and you see that you would not have known was there, some of the worst places ever. But I had to be careful about, you know, where I was going, and even how, you know, when I was going to this one place, I hated to go because it was, the apartment building was dark and dingy and looked like the elevator wasn't gonna work, so it always looked like I was gonna get trapped on the elevator in this old dark, dingy, dirty building. Nobody was gonna ever find me until my body had started to decay. You know, I just didn't feel like I was safe, right? Or, you know, or sometimes I had to, you know, scoot around the guy shooting crap, or I had, I mean, so it was some really escape places that I had to go. But at some point in time, I had to say, come on now, you can't put yourself in this, you know, much longer. You gotta start to say, no, we gotta figure out a different way. But here, trying to do too much. Highly active, don't say students, it's gonna be peer educators, fall into this trap, busy all the time, can value someone's time, but recognize that you may not be able to be your best self. If you're always doing for other people, always doing so much stuff, you may not be the best for you or the best for the other
But I
person.
think you have to put limits because these people get codependent
They do.
with you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And they want you to do everything for them.
And you have to set boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if not, you're enabling them. You cannot enable them. Taking on something, what does that look like? What do you think that looks like? Taking on something too big. It almost sounds, yeah, go right ahead, Julie.
I was just gonna say, maybe it's like when you bit off more you can chew, is that like similar?
Can you give an example?
So, I would say like, you know, if you, okay, so for me personally, I'm one of those people that, you know, if someone asks me to help them, I'm gonna try to do my very best. But let's say at the time, like I have something else going on, so then it starts to get overwhelming because I'm trying to do something that someone asked me to do, but it's just too big for me to do by myself. So that's how I perceive it.
And it's kind of the way Joy described it too. She kind of put some of that taking on too much in there as well, right? So, just like you said, something too big. I think of it like this: something above my pay rate. You people say it's above my pay rate. It's above my pay rate.
Ask somebody else to do it.
Well, my pay grade.
You know, it's something that I'm really not supposed to be doing, right? And you know, I mean. And usually I'm not supposed to be doing it, I probably can, I gotta break some rules to do it. Now, like, I can call and make the appointments for you, right? That's probably not too big, it's too much. But too big can be some things that, you know, you probably are kind of crossing the line. When we show this to the students at school, we have this scenario where a young lady is obviously having a bad relationship and is being abused by her partner. So the peer support then says, give me your phone. I'm gonna delete his telephone number out of your phone, and I'm gonna call the police, and I'm gonna call him and tell him not to call you anymore. And that's too much. That's too big. You know. You know, they're just trying to go above and beyond, right? Way above and beyond. So we don't want to.
Too involved.
You say it again.
Too involved.
Too involved to get personal,
Right.
personal that it's not like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna be
Try,
hurt.
just try to be the bully. because she wants to control the
Yeah.
situation.
Somebody gonna be hurt.
Yeah, so too much, so that's sometimes we do that as peers, as support
Mhm.
people, we take on too much, we wanna take on something that's too big. That's probably something that should be handled by campus security. If we're not on a campus situation, it should be handled by police. So they should be referred to some type of domestic violence.
Yeah, you can
kind of
always ask somebody else that
intervention.
knows it.
Step.
And I think that a lot of us take our work home. So I think that you should say at 5 o'clock, work is done. Don't take it home because you're doing
Right, that's human nature.
That's it, not taking it home is self-care. 'Cause
Right.
That was, that's,
Human nature.
remember we just said, who said 24/7? Was that you, Christine, who said 24/7? Michelle,
Somebody
yeah,
24/7.
taking that work home,
Yeah.
working 24/7, can't do it. Okay, situations can't be handled by you by yourself, that's something.
There you go, stop
Okay.
taking too much.
Situations may be beyond your ability, may need to refer to, let's just say, a resource, okay? But that's something too big. Another trap that peer supporters fall into, internalizing the
Yeah.
issue.
Yes.
Right, how does that look? What does that look like? Internalizing the issue.
Well, like making it personal, yeah, that's, for me, that's what I think.
Yeah,
That's
Making
what
it
it is.
personal. Anybody had a
Yeah.
situation like that where they internalized, made something,
Yeah.
made it their issue?
Yeah. I took it, oh, man. I took it to a whole nother level.
Oh, I don't.
No.
Because I'm by myself, right? And I don't wanna take on somebody else because I have enough problems. And what they're dealing is not their dealing, it has nothing to do with me. I can help them, but, you gotta put the line.
Yeah, thanks Nancy. Cedric?
Yes, I think it goes back to what you just spoke about the domestic situation. When going in the phone, deleting the number, tell them not, they're not gonna call. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, they did it. Oh, well, I'm going down there and I'm gonna beat them
Yeah.
up. So now,
Yeah.
now you feel a way about it, and now you're part of the issue.
Yeah, sounds like it triggered her, right?
Yeah.
Right, it sounds like there was something that she dealt with in the past,
Absolutely.
right? That she's, all of her feelings, she's
Yeah.
triggered by it, all of her feelings there, she's kind of thinking, this is probably something I should have done when I was going through,
Right.
right?
I'm not gonna,
Right.
I'm not gonna let you go through the same thing. I agree.
Yeah. Christine, did you have your hand?
No.
Okay. Very good.
I'd had my hand up and I was thinking about the internalizing the stigma, internalizing the issue. Because I was in a room of about 30 people, but I had been in that, those same 30 people had been with me almost all day in 3 different meetings.
Oh.
And my nerves were shot. And by that last meeting, Michelle was not the same person. She was not. She turned to civil.
Oh, boy, you need the Snickers.
She was civil. And it was like, everybody kind of like looked at me. Like, yeah, okay. But it's like, I'll apologize on the next meeting, but I ain't apologizing. That's what I said, I'm sticking to
You
it.
had to exhale and let it out.
Yeah, so that's what I
You
said,
can take
and
on
I'm
other
sticking
people's
to
stuff
it.
easily. You
Yeah.
can really take on other folks' stuff,
Yeah.
you can.
But
Especially
it was,
if
like I
you
said, it was 30 people, and I had had all of them people all day for 3 different meetings. And they was vexing my nerves, and it's like,
Too much.
too much.
So we don't want to take on other folks' stuff. It's not our stuff, it's their stuff. We're not there to internalize.
I'm gonna say, so especially, when you have a agenda, that you have to do certain things throughout the day at your position. So then this individual comes along and you dedicate your whole time for this individual, and then you're gonna be backed up. Because it has happened to me in my position, that I'm dedicated helping her with this case and that situation, housing and all this stuff, and then my supervisor, did you finish this? And I haven't even started it, you understand? So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we have to be able to allocate our times appropriately. The physicians do it, right? They give us 15 minutes, we in and out.
But-
They give us 15 minutes.
But I have to say that in this field, you're assigned to do one thing and you wind up doing 20 things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You understand? We're peers, but then we're actually doing data, and we're doing this, and we're doing that, and we're doing,
Yeah, we have to figure out how to allocate our time, stay within our boundaries. So internalizing the issues, something about it triggers you. There's something about what they said, it struck something deep down. When you can't create a mental boundary between the situation, right, and the person that you're working with, then you're internalizing it. And you probably need to then hand that over to somebody else. This probably isn't the best case, the best customer client.
and sometimes their feelings are, our feelings are involved.
Yes, yeah, definitely. You're internalizing it, it's your feelings. You wanna empathize with the person, but
Yes.
you cannot internalize. You wanna try to feel what they're feeling, you wanna try to walk in their shoes, but you cannot internalize it now that you're taking action or trying to have them take action based on what you would do if you were actually going through that situation. Is there a hand? That's all. Yes,
Go
Ms.
ahead,
Michelle.
maybe it was, okay, so what if that person that is always doing that me thing, that's always a me thing, and I'm like, it's always that same person, and one person that I know always tells me, they know how to get your goat, they know how to get your goat. I said, well, I wish they'd get somebody else's goat. I said, because I don't have a poker face. I do not have a poker face. You can read me like a rock. You know, before I even say it, you can read me like a rock. So I have to generally turn and walk away and count to 5 or 10 and come back and say, well, now, maybe you want to do this a little bit different, or maybe you want to do that a little bit different. And I've already said that probably 4 or 5 times to them in the past about maybe the same situation, but they will keep coming back to that me. Everybody's always doing this to me, everybody's always doing that to me.
They're the victim.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah, exactly. We all have that. We all have
That part.
I think when you're walking away and taking a break from it and coming back first is a good strategy.
It helps me because, like I said, I am the peer, I am the advocate, I am the volunteer, and I like doing what I do. But if I continue to be pushed to that limit, my volunteer stripes will be taken away. You know, so I try not to let my volunteer stripes, it's like, I ain't letting you take me out.
That's where the self-care comes in. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to
Yeah.
draw the lines and know
Yeah.
our boundaries. Exactly. Okay.
Cedric has something to say.
Oh,
Oh, no.
sure.
Yep.
Blurring the lines of integrity and ethics. What do you think you mean by that as a peer? Support person. How do we blur the lines between, what are some things that we can do to blur the lines between integrity?
Well, like maybe when somebody asks you to do something and then you say yes, but then you back out because for any reason.
Okay, so backing out. Okay.
Now, I'm telling on myself.
Come on with it.
So, as a patient navigator, this
Hold on, let me tell you this. We are being filmed.
You what you say?
Being filmed.
He not calling no name.
No.
Well, I'll tune it down a little bit.
Okay.
So, I had a patient who, needed their medication, whatever the case may be. They didn't have places to store it and things like that. And in that case, they had lost their medication. I went into a drawer that's not mine and got them the tools that they needed. And I think that's blurring the lines of integrity. Is I wasn't supposed to do that, but I jumped that line to make them feel better, but it jeopardized my integrity.
Right, exactly.
But that was a one-shot wonder.
That's an excellent example of that.
That was a one-time one that they can't
And
ask.
that's one of those traps that we fall into, because we wanna help the person, right? We wanna do whatever we can do to help the person, but we have to be careful about our integrity and our ethics, and you know, I think, you really should,
Yeah,
your job.
and I'm in somebody else's space and their drawer getting something for someone else, like.
They can come up short, and they would,
Mhm.
we're gonna be looking at them like, well, you only have this number, you should have.
I'm like, that's crazy, you had all those, I don't know where they went. That's crazy. The whole time I'm leaving.
So the things that we do, right, to support peers, we have to be very careful not to blur the lines, not to cross the lines. Any other situations?
So I'm gonna say honestly that I'm reverse of him. I don't want the key, I don't want the cabinet, I don't want information, I don't wanna know where the Metro cards are at, I don't wanna know nothing. So with me is the opposite, because they cannot blame anything on me, because I don't have an extra key, and I don't know the combination or whatever. But the point is that this happens every day, and they tend to point fingers to people, and it might jeopardize your position.
Yeah.
They don't got cameras?
No, but regardlessly, it's a small world, the walls have ears,
Oh.
and eyes, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it.
Big brother is always watching. Okay, so, make sure that you don't make false promises or confidentiality. Oh, that's the other thing too, blurring the lines. A lot of times we'll say, oh, it's just between us. Nobody will ever will hear about this. Nobody else will have to know. We know we have to tell somebody about who we're working with, right? What the situation is. Sometimes we don't always have to give up their private information, but we can't always keep stuff confidential, right? But when we tell our clients, or when we tell the folks, the peers we're supporting, that everything is confidential, and we know that that's not the case, that's kind of what.
Well,
And it breaks down the communications later on down the road too.
And the trust.
And the trust, exactly.
what if you're not saying the name and what the actual incident was? Are you still blurring the lines
No,
when you do
so
that?
you're keeping their information private.
Right.
Right, but you can't, but you are telling the situation. Like, so no, you're not. blurring the
Okay.
lines, yeah.
But I think we
Unless
all,
you're telling it to somebody that knows both of you.
but I think we all bend the
Then they'll know
rules.
who you're talking about.
Okay.
We all bend the rules in some kind of formal way, just because like myself, I tell the person, if you come with me, you're gonna get a gift card, you're gonna get a Metro card, and we're gonna take care of you, we're gonna get your medication straight up to you. But if you come to me, I'll give you an extra Metro card, but don't say nothing to nobody. And I sometimes go to front desk, sign the Metro card for myself, and I give the Metro card to the person. You know, I'm not supposed to get a Metro card, but I do that, you understand?
Okay, blur the
And
lines.
it's okay, but it's not such a major thing like money or gift cards, you know, something big, you understand?
Right, okay, I got it.
It's for their
But it
transportation.
does fall under here, it does.
I know,
right?
I know.
Every situation is different, right? You know, we all have code of ethics that we live by, right? Or rules of the office, or, you know, the policies. So we wanna work within those. We have to work within those, right? And sometimes some of the things that we do, right, we might bend them a little bit. That's blurring the lines. So those are the 4 traps. So there was blurring the lines of integrity and ethics. It was, did I go the wrong way? Yeah. Internalizing the issue, taking on something too big, and trying to do too much. So those were our 4 traps that we fall into. So those are the 4 things that we can possibly do sometimes that take us to, that are barriers to us being a peer superhero, as opposed to those 5 roles that we play. When we're in those 5 roles, when we're doing things that make us more of a better support to our peers, peer supporter. All righty, everybody stand up for just a second. Just a second. Come on. Shake it out. I don't want to lose anybody. Let's shake it out. Let's get some circulation going. And then we're gonna home stretch. Shake it all out. Y'all wiggling in the seat, come on, get up, girls.
Legs.
Take it on out, yeah, touch the ceiling.
On a
Ah.
Good try.
All right, okay, let's come home stretch. We're gonna talk about self-care now. Thank you.
Self-care.
Self-care, yes. Okay, so when I was growing up, just a put, self-care was considered selfish. If you did self-care, you was selfish. You did not take care of yourself. Self-care, what? There was too many other people around you that needed some help.
I have to take care of myself so I can help people.
There you go. That's exactly right. I totally agree with that. But when I was growing up, that was not the case.
Yeah.
Okay? We took care of every single body else. And maybe at about 11:59, that's my end of the day, 11:59, there might have been 30 seconds left when you could do something for yourself. But at that time, you was too exhausted to do anything for yourself. You just passed out of the bed, right? All you could do for yourself really was to go to sleep. But now, I am so glad that self-care, we are telling people to put self-care in the forefront. This is what we need to be doing, taking care of ourselves.
See, that's what made me run off at the mouth with them 30 people I needed self-care before I had them 30 people all day in their room with me.
So we know why self-care is so important, right?
Yeah, that's why last night I didn't go with you because I needed to take care of myself instead of just going out and.
Yeah, I came back early. I was back by 10 o'clock.
So,
Shut this up.
oh,
I said, nice
Oh, I'll
meeting
come
you.
thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Nice meeting you.
So self-care. I'm showing this slide because I want to show this picture really, right? So when we are taking care of everybody else, that's a good thing.
That's
We have to take
oxygen
care of
mask in the
ourselves.
airplane.
That's exactly what it is. So I said I started doing this stuff back in early 1990s, and was doing corporate worksite wellness and population health and that kind of stuff. So I would go into companies and talk to companies about keeping their employees well. Employees were well, bottom line, companies were going to make a whole lot of money. I got a whole lot of work out of that until 9/11 hit and the bottom dropped out of all of that. But I would do these stress management, self-care workshops, and I would always say, you gotta take care of yourself. We're taking care of all these other people, and you have to take care of yourself, especially if you're taking care of other people. Because think about this, and I was being flown all over the place to do this, and I had this bell going off in my head when I was at the airport flying, and the flight attendant said, you're traveling with somebody else, we have some kind of cabin pressure problem, the mask is gonna drop down, cover you up first, and then cover the other person. And I was like, that's right, cover you up, then cover the other person, take care of you, and then take care of the other person. Because if not, when there's no oxygen in the plane, I'm done, and the person I'm trying to help, there's nobody to help them anymore, right? So I love that, I love hearing them say that every single time. And then when I saw this on this slide, I was like, yes, that's a perfect image of, to talk about self-care, take care of you first. But when we think about self-care, what do we think about? What are we talking about when we talk about self-care? What does it look like?
Relaxing.
It looks like relaxing.
Yeah. Don't answer the phone.
Not answering the phone.
Don't go nowhere. Stay in your
Doing
PJs all
something for
day.
yourself.
Doing something for yourself.
Stay in your PJs all day.
PJs, those are wonderful strategies. and
Don't
techniques.
take work home.
Don't take work home, right? Exactly. When we think about self-care, get yourself an action plan, a self-care action plan, and think about it from the whole person, right? Every aspect of yourself, your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, your financial wellness, your community, your occupation, I missed some emotional, intellectual, spiritual, and social. Spiritual, right, and social. You gotta think about it from every last one of the dimensions, right? Because when I was thinking about self-care, I always wanted to get a massage, and I wanted to meditate, and I wanted to have aromatherapy, and I wanted to have a nice bath, right? And bubbles. That was only part of it. it was only part of it. So I love this action plan to look at every single thing. And I look at this like a wheel. This is the wheel, these are spokes. And, you know, you need air in your wheel, right? So if I'm good physically, if I'm eating really healthy, and I'm getting my physical activity in, my 30 minutes every day, then this wheel's filled up, right? But spiritually, if I'm not taking the time to connect with my Creator or meditating, then this wheel is a little bit low, a little bit deflated, right? And then maybe financially, I may be overspending, right? So this wheel's a little bit low. But with community, you know, I'm connecting, I'm out there doing those social things, volunteering and such. So this part of my tire is kind of flat, and this is big, so I'm wobbly. I'm not a whole person. I'm not really full and really taking care of the whole me. So really consider, when we're talking about self-care, consider the whole you, every single aspect of you. Yes.
I don't know if anybody has anything to say about this, but my thing is I feel like I just don't have enough time to do all of it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I work 8 to 5, I like get a workout in, cook a healthy meal, then I have like 30 minutes of like Real Housewives, and then I have like start getting ready for bed.
Okay, so you got the physical
It's like I
in,
can do physical, and then,
you got the occupational.
and I feel like that's all I got right now.
Okay, so
It's just like, how do you have time to do all the rest?
you got your physical. How do we make time for it? How do we make time for all of it?
Okay, so I was feeling like that for a while, but I just had to rededicate my time because often, like, yes, there's self-care, but like, I would feel like there was just some things that were missing, you know what I mean? Like, interactions with my friends, because I'm very much so like a community-oriented person, so like, sorry, but so like for me now, I've been trying to do like dinner dates with my friends, maybe like once a week or something, not even once a week, but like, you know, monthly, because we adults. But, you know,
emotional.
yeah, and
Like multiple checkoffs of the one.
yeah, so like everything doesn't have to be on the same day, like you can't do everything at
Right.
once,
Yeah.
but if you just try to do it, like, you know, maybe once or twice throughout the month, or, you know, throughout the week,
But
and try to hit.
You're doing it with a friend, so you're not on your own time.
No, I do have times for my own
I
self.
mean, like for me, I make a day that I said, okay, I'm gonna go to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
That's my self-care.
Mhm.
And I don't invite anybody else.
Okay.
Because that's my time. I don't have to, you know, talk to
Yeah.
somebody else that I have to do what they want and all of that. So for me, self-care, it's kind of like selfish,
Okay.
but it's not.
So, okay, and that's a good way, Nancy, to go about it. So I think with Joy is adding the community piece to hers, so she has that
Yeah.
socializing piece. Grayson,
Grayson.
you home. You go home and cook, right?
Mhm.
What's that environment like? Does cooking relax you? Do you enjoy going home and
Sometimes, like if I
cooking?
put on like a little like jazz music or something, it's like a vibe.
Yeah,
But
that's-
other times if I'm like not in that mindset, I'm just like, I'm just chopping up these
Sure.
vegetables right now, like trying to get through this. Like I'm just hungry.
Yeah.
Especially if I just like worked out.
So be more intentional about it, right? You got your kitchen set up the way you want to. Like I love Sunday is my day. I mean, I get I go to the market, I get on my vegetables, I come home, I rinse them off, I chop them up, I roast them, they're in the refrigerator, so all week long I know I can pull.
That's how I do it.
So that's part of my environment, you know. So it's also part of the environment, you know, if you get into the garden, but it's getting cold, and we do that, right? So that's my environment. My kitchen then becomes my environment. And that, or my sofa with my big, den with my big comfy chair, and my nice cozy,
Yes, throw.
Right, so
Yes.
you can do it in different ways. Don't feel like you have to have it. I see you, Chrissy, give me just a second, okay? Don't feel like you have to, you know, have this list, I gotta check this off every single day.
Right.
I don't get through my to-do list on any given day, right? There's always these things left off. Not even my self-care to-do list, just my regular to-do list. So I don't make this like my to-do list. It's just like, I wanna know that in each of these areas that I'm doing something, that I'm intentional about it and I'm focused on it, right? So,
Yeah. with time.
You're
hopefully
probably
I'll get
doing
there.
more, you're probably doing more than you think. You know, your will is probably, more inflated and more balanced than you think it is.
Yeah.
Just from the fact that you're going home and cooking, and you and I are
Yeah.
calling DoorDash or Grubhub, you know? Yeah.
So I was gonna say that I relate so much with him because life is so fast forward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is.
And
Yeah.
sometimes we don't even have time to even pamper ourselves, or even like myself to go do my nails. I have to think. I need time, you know, to do my feet, to do my whatever the stores. Even the weekends run so fast. You decide because I know when you're relaxing, when you're having fun, time runs even. So
Be
I thought in the
intentional.
beginning you would say that if we do all of this every day.
Oh,
No.
no, you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do
You know
every
what?
single last one of those things every day. But if you notice, you know, that your wheel is deflating in a certain area, then give that some more attention. Okay? Give it some more, so and to be able to do that, you're gonna have to pause for a moment. It might be when you're in the shower. You know, you might have to pause and just think, how's everything with me? How am I doing in
I think
these
if I would
areas?
do all of this every day, I will have such anxiety.
You would have such a what?
Such anxiety.
Trying to do it every
Oh, well, no, you can't try to, no, not every single day, just think about it in your life,
Spread it
in
out.
general,
Yeah.
and where you are. But you know where your deficit at, where you need some more air. Benjamin, you had in?
Yeah, I think like, for me at least, like even doing like small things every day can be helpful.
Mhm.
I'm someone who likes like a lot of routine.
Uh-huh.
So like, what I've started doing over the past semester since I started working for HIV, and I'm in grad school, so I have like a dedicated schedule now. So every morning I get up, it takes like half an hour, I make my tea, I go for a walk, and that's like really relaxing because it
Yeah.
gives me some time to myself before I start work for the day, every day, and that's just something I can go back to and think, oh, this is something that was relaxing in the morning, and that just starts off the day right. So I think just doing small things and working with your routine.
Absolutely, yeah. And then what comes out of that, sitting there quietly for tea and walking, it just puts it puts positive thoughts in your head, right? It helps to clear things up. It might make for some space for you to even do some of these other things, or even realize that you're okay in some of these other areas, more okay in some of these other areas than you think you are. All right.
Yeah, I feel like you really do have to be intentional because I feel like it can be so easy to just kind of like wake up, get on your phone, and then like just
Yes.
take a shower, get ready, then go to work, and then like, I don't know, get home, and then it's like take care of everything, then you get, like, I feel like there's so many things to like have to distract you where you can just have like such tunnel vision. And like you were saying, like life just goes by so quickly. And it's just like you gotta, find ways to just kind of put it all down to like make sense of it all. 'Cause I feel like that's what
Before you
I'm
know
going
it, it's
through.
5 p.m.
Exactly.
And you know that in Europe, they have 2 hours of lunch,
Yes.
and they even have nap time at work.
Yes.
And they say that those people that have more time to
Barely half
rest,
an hour.
their work ethic is more evolved.
It is, a work ethic, the bottom line, they're more productive, they're
Yes.
healthier, absolutely. Yeah, if we could evolve to that, that would be awesome.
They don't give us a siesta.
And they have holiday too, it's like they have to take vacation. How many of us have carry over, use or lose leave because for years, we just wouldn't take our leave or go on vacation?
Only in academia.
Most of the agencies, like right about now, most of the agencies are going on leave because they lose their leave.
Exactly, because they
And
wouldn't
then,
ever take it.
right, and then you got clients that are still needing stuff because they don't. And it's like, and I try to tell people all the time, get what you're going to get from your case manager before they start to leave that office, because now you might wait till the new year.
That's exactly right. Well, look, I'm closing out now, it's almost 3 o'clock, my photographer's leaving, videographer's leaving.
Did he just leave?
Now his son is back here.
Oh, okay. He just, bye y'all.
It has been an honor and a pleasure to present to you all today. I certainly hope you got something out of this.
yes.
I did.
Thank you.
I didn't know how that would work out for me, but I did, and I've got to start taking more time for me, and I've got to start being a little bit more patient with some of the people that I'm working with for various reasons.
So are you still recording this? Because they should hear that peers should be paid more money.
Peers should get paid. Peers should get paid, period.
No, I don't do anything for free anymore.
No, but I mean,
I'm a volunteer.
I'm a volunteer, but don't insult me with a $20 Kroger card.
Yeah.
Don't insult me with a $20 Kroger card. I mean, you
At
know.
least get a visa.
The visas I can use, and I mean, and don't, I'm not ungrateful, but don't just try to suck up to me with a $20 Kroger card, come on now.
So I have to say that, if you get certified as a peer, the minimum wage will be $15 an hour. And it depends where you go to, you can even request higher pay.
That's so good.
And that is the certification of the Department of Health, and that it takes a while because it's all in virtual. But if you're certified, you can ask for more.
I'm certified.
That's so good.
So
I do not do anything for free anymore.
So I want you all to give yourselves a hand.
Thank you, baby.
That was me, thank you so much, I appreciate it. Enjoy, I guess we have a couple more hours left in the conference, huh?
I'm ready for that.
Like,
You guys have time.
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
No, legit.
Oh, it was recording.
Oh, yeah, it's always recording.
Okay,
Until I tell you it's not
Delete that
recording.
last 5 minutes. Delete that last 5 minutes.
Sorry.
Really?
Sorry.